Imagine this: a massive U.S. Navy ship carrying 309 people sails into the Atlantic Ocean and then simply vanishes. No distress call, no wreckage, not a single survivor. More than 100 years later, no one knows what really happened to the USS Cyclops. Was it a violent storm? A secret wartime attack? Or did something far more mysterious happen beneath the Atlantic? If you're fascinated by real mysteries, forgotten history, and unexplained true stories, make sure to subscribe to Shadow Highway. Here, we uncover the darkest mysteries history left behind. Now, let's uncover the shocking true story of the USS Cyclops, one of the greatest unsolved maritime mysteries of all time.
The year was 1918. World War I was raging across the globe, and the Atlantic Ocean had become one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth. Every day, military ships carried soldiers, coal, weapons, and vital supplies across these hostile waters. Among them was one of the largest and most powerful cargo ships in the U.S. Navy, the USS Cyclops. Built in 1910, the USS Cyclops measured over 540 feet in length and was designed to transport massive amounts of coal. During the war, however, its mission changed. The ship became a critical transport vessel, carrying strategic cargo essential to America's war effort. With its enormous size and solid steel construction, many believed the Cyclops was nearly impossible to lose. On board were 309 people: officers, sailors, and passengers. None of them knew they were about to begin what would become one of the most mysterious voyages in maritime history. The ship was loaded with thousands of tons of manganese ore, a mineral essential for producing high-strength steel used in wartime manufacturing. With its cargo secured and its crew ready, the USS Cyclops set course across the Atlantic, beginning a journey that seemed routine, but would soon become one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. What happened next would shock the world. A ship this massive doesn't simply disappear. Or does it? To uncover the answer, we must follow the USS Cyclops on its final voyage.
In February 1918, the USS Cyclops departed from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, carrying more than 10,000 tons of manganese ore. Its final destination was Baltimore, Maryland. Before heading home, the ship made one last scheduled stop in Bridgetown, Barbados. On March 3, 1918, the Cyclops arrived safely in Barbados. The crew took on fresh supplies, completed routine inspections, and prepared for the final leg of the journey. Nothing appeared unusual. There were no reports of enemy ships nearby, no emergency warnings, and no signs that disaster was only hours away. The following day, March 4, the USS Cyclops left Barbados and steamed north toward the United States. According to its planned route, the voyage should have taken about a week. But that week came and went, and the Cyclops never arrived. No distress call was ever received, no radio message, no request for help. The massive ship and all 309 people on board simply vanished somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. At first, officials assumed the ship had been delayed by bad weather, but as days turned into weeks, concern quickly turned into fear. A vessel of this size could not simply disappear unless something extraordinary had happened. Soon, the U.S. Navy would launch one of the largest search efforts of its time. What they discovered was even more disturbing than anyone had imagined.
When the USS Cyclops failed to arrive in Baltimore, the U.S. Navy initially believed the ship had simply been delayed by rough seas. But as more days passed without a single message, the situation became impossible to ignore. The Navy began searching the Cyclops' expected route across the Atlantic. Patrol ships scanned the ocean, ports were contacted, and every available report was reviewed. But there was one terrifying problem. There was absolutely nothing to find. No floating debris, no lifeboats, no oil slick. Not even a single piece of wreckage that could confirm where the ship had gone down. During World War I, Many suspected the Cyclops had been sunk by a German U-boat. But after the war ended, German naval records were carefully examined. Surprisingly, there was no evidence that any German submarine had attacked or even encountered the USS Cyclops. The disappearance became even more disturbing because all 309 people on board had vanished without leaving behind a single clue. It was as if the ship had simply been erased from history. Years turned into decades. New investigations were launched. Experts analyzed weather records, cargo reports, and the ship's design. Yet every investigation ended the same way, with more questions than answers. Even today, more than a century later, the final resting place of the USS Cyclops has never been confirmed. And with every passing year, the mystery only grows deeper. Narrator transition.
With no distress call, no confirmed wreckage, and no survivors, the disappearance of the USS Cyclops gave rise to countless theories. Some are supported by historical evidence, while others remain pure speculation. Theory 1. A powerful Atlantic storm. One of the most widely accepted explanations is that the Cyclops encountered severe weather. Historical records show that parts of the Atlantic experienced rough seas around the time of its disappearance. If the ship sailed into an intense storm while carrying a heavy cargo, enormous waves could have placed extreme stress on its structure. Theory 2. Structural failure. Another leading theory points to the ship itself. Some historians believe the Cyclops may have been carrying an unusually heavy load of manganese ore. If the cargo shifted during rough seas, the ship's structure could have failed suddenly. In that case, the vessel might have sunk so quickly that the crew never had time to send a distress signal. Theory 3. A German U-boat attack. Because the disappearance occurred during World War I, many believed a German submarine had torpedoed the ship. However, after the war, German naval records were examined, and no evidence was found linking any U-boat to the loss of the USS Cyclops. Today, most historians consider this theory unlikely. Theory 4. The Bermuda Triangle. Perhaps the most famous theory connects the Cyclops to the Bermuda Triangle. Since the ship disappeared in the Western Atlantic, many writers later associated its loss with the mysterious region. But there is no scientific evidence proving that the Bermuda Triangle was responsible. Most experts view it as a popular legend rather than a verified explanation. Narrator transition. More than a century has passed, yet none of these theories has been proven. Without the
More than a century has passed since the USS Cyclops disappeared without a trace. Despite advances in sonar technology, deep-sea exploration, and decades of research, the ship's final resting place has never been conclusively identified. The loss of all 309 people on board remains the largest non-combat loss of life involving a single ship in the history of the U.S. Navy. Yet, unlike many other maritime disasters, the Cyclops left behind no confirmed wreckage, no final message, and no eyewitnesses to explain what happened. For historians, it is a fascinating unsolved case. For the families of those who never returned, it was a tragedy that offered no closure. And for mystery enthusiasts around the world, the USS Cyclops continues to symbolize one of the ocean's greatest unanswered questions. Was it destroyed by the forces of nature? Did a hidden structural failure send it to the bottom of the Atlantic? Or is the real answer still waiting to be discovered beneath thousands of feet of water? Until the wreck is conclusively found, the fate of the USS Cyclops will remain one of history's greatest unsolved maritime mysteries. What do you think happened to the USS Cyclops? Share your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoy true mysteries, forgotten history, and unexplained stories, don't forget to subscribe to Shadow Highway for more documentaries like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next